So the second weekend number for Superman Legacy is out and it only dropped to 54%. That's from its opening weekend over a week ago. So what's happening here is that this film uh actually did reasonably well. You're looking at $57.25 million this weekend, and you're looking at the fact that this project now has a total of $235 million in the United States. Now, it looks good on paper, and in fact, it suggests that this film will make at least $350 million in the United States as we speak. But the problem this film is now having is the international market, because it only made $45.2 million everywhere else this weekend. Sorry, this past weekend. And you're now looking at a total of $171.8 million internationally. Now, when you add all these together, you are looking at a total of $406.8 million after 2 weeks. Is this a good amount for Superman that is supposed to relaunch this at least a franchise that died, a few years back? At least they claimed it died, even though I don't believe it died under the Snyder reign. Is this kind of number good enough after 2 weeks? I wouldn't say it's the case. You know why? Because Fantastic Four is coming out this coming weekend. And the problem with this project now is that Fantastic Four, even though I feel this film is trash, even though I feel this film is woke, even though I feel people like Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss Barrett are not good enough for these roles they gave them, because they are old and basically, they are not even entertaining enough to be playing these roles. The reality is that the Marvel brand is still big enough that it can take a lot of viewers away from Superman to have a decent third weekend. Now, only $406 million after 2 weeks suggests to me that this film will now struggle to get to $600 million worldwide. The reason I say this is that if you look at last weekend, this film made $220 million in its first weekend. So when you do the math, you will see that this film only generated $186 million in its second weekend in total. So it needed 7 days to generate another 186 million. So between now, this Monday down to Sunday, can it bring in another $100 million to get to 500 million this weekend? I don't know. We shall see. Time will tell. But, this box office number suggests to me that James Gunn's latest Superman project is still going to struggle to get to $600 million worldwide. So many people are saying it will get to 650, $700 million. Even Luis Fernando on Twitter is estimating it to get between 640 million to $700 million. But I still don't believe it has that potential to stay long enough, have that holding power to get to $640 million, let alone $700 million. I don't see this project beating Henry Cavill's Man of Steel. Remember that Henry Cavill, it might not have opened as big as this project, but it still topped out at $670 million worldwide when it's all said and done. And that was from 12 years ago, back in 2013. And this is not even including inflation and all that. So this is a big task for Superman Legacy from James Gunn. This project needs to have staying power to be able to break even. Like I said in my last video on Saturday, this project needs at least 650 to $700 million to break even. That is the minimum it needs in theaters to be able to break even. So now let's look at the other top 10 at the box office. Now, Jurassic World Rebirth made 23.4 million, came in second this past weekend. It's now at a total of $276.2 million. The new horror flick, I Know What You Did Last Summer, made $13 million this past weekend in its first weekend. Smurfs made $11 million. F1, Brad Pitt's F1 made $9.6 million for a total of $153.6 million. How to Train Your Dragon made $5.4 million for a total of $250.7 million. Edgerton made $4.3 million. Elio, that is a major flop for Disney, only made $2 million for a total of $68.9 million. Lilo and Stitch is still in the top 10 with $1.5 million for a total of $418.2 million. And then finally, you have 28 years later, it made $1.1 million for a total of $68.7 million. So now, one thing we have to now look at is the international gross from other projects, even down to Superman. Lilo and Stitch has finally crossed $1 billion. So Disney can be proud of that. It has made $589.8 million internationally for a total of $1 billion, actually exactly $1 billion, $8 million at the box office. So it's literally the first billion-dollar Hollywood project this year. Now you have Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth has crossed $648 million. It's on pace to at least, I see this project getting to at least $850 million. Like I predicted before, I said this film would not hit $1 billion. And rightfully so, it's not going to hit $1 billion. So it made $371.8 million internationally. When you add it to the US numbers, you're looking at $648 million. How to Train Your Dragon has crossed $588 million because it has now earned $338.2 million internationally for a total of $588.9 million. Now it's going to cross 600 million, maybe get to 650 when it's all said and done. Maybe even cross 650. I could even say get to 680, 690 when it's all said and done. At the box office, Mission Impossible is still a flop for Paramount because this project has just gotten to 588.8 million. So you're looking at $393 million internationally. So it's definitely going to cross $600 million, but I don't see it getting past $600 million when it's all said and done. F1 has crossed $460 million. So it made $307.2 million plus the US numbers. You're looking at $460.8 million. Now this project, it needs around 550 to 600 million to break even. So let's see if it can get to 550. If it gets to 550 when it's all said and done, then it's broken even quite comfortably. Superman, like I said, 406 million with a smaller international number of 171, and then 28 years later has crossed 145 million. It made $76.5 million for a total of $145.2 million. So that's the box office coverage for this past weekend. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please share your thoughts down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Do like our content. I'll see you guys very much next time.